I don't even want to do, like, when I tell Kristen, like, I don't want to do anything, she's like, oh, okay, so we'll just do, like, a little cake and this and people over. No.
No.
I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
I want to sit there, no TV, no book, nothing. Just sit there, stare into the abyss.
I always treat it like
veg out at the couch.
Yeah, I always treat it like New Year. Like, you're not gonna. It's a weird time. You're not gonna remember what day it is until it's over, and it's like the time to reset and enjoy life until all of a sudden you realize that you're getting older. Then you get a little terrified.
Yeah, yes, you know. We're live, by the way.
Like.
Oh wait. Hold on. Let me put the about to begin because we haven't even synced.
Oh no.
Yeah, we're not even.
It's okay.
We're not even recording. We're not doing. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I know.
I haven't started hit record yet.
Yeah, it's alright. Just make sure. Can you guys talk? Alright, cool. Yeah, probably. Just put Halloween stuff on. Get it. Oh god, I knew god. Anyway, we're not talking about banshee. No, this is the 6th book, 7th book. And he was like, he finished this book, cause I kind of like drop off the wagon, you know, the year. So he finished this book, and he's like, oh man, okay, I'm gonna wait for you to catch up so we can read the next one. Okay. And then I'm trying to get really slowly into reading with my habit reading again and all that stuff. So, like, go to the gym, waking up at 5 in the morning, and then like a week later, he's like, I finished Mammoth Rises or whatever it's called. Tim has Wrath, and I'm like, so now he can't read the last one because I wanted to read the last one with him so we can actually talk about it. You know you have all those blue. Bro, I can't make it past God Emperor. I don't know what. I'm like halfway through and I'm like, I just can't. I don't know. Yeah. It's over. Wow. Yeah. So, but I mean, it's still interesting. But I mean, the Expanse is so much more active. The Expanse? Yeah, 100%. It's like a feel good. Shit happens though, but you're right. None of them like the main heroes have. Getting. Yeah, exactly. So, all right, you guys have your audio thing on? Recording. 1 to 3 recording. 1 2 3 record. What the fuck do you do, bro? Three, 2, 1, record. 3, 2, 1, sync. Boom. That's a nice wavelength. Well, you're not making this. So you're a real professional over here. Yeah. Have you ever done that? Have you ever done that thing where you're like, yeah, that's. Alright, so I guess I'll be the host. You guys are experts. So all about banshees or Alright, make sure audio's going well. My levels are good. Can you guys talk like if you were just testing?
I'm casually chatting here, just
I
for
am
testing
talking
purposes.
like
Yep,
as if
yep,
I'm
yep.
casually
There you go.
testing.
Very good. Thank you guys.
Was that
All right,
casual
here we go.
enough? I could be more casual.
I mean, it could be very casual.
Definitely too casual, guys.
Too
I
casual.
mean,
sorry.
I'm wearing pajamas. I don't know how much more casual we can get. So,
You wearing pajamas?
of course I am.
Sweatpants, baby.
Mhm.
You wearing pants?
It's Sunday. I ain't leaving this house. Fuck that.
Yeah.
You're lucky you got me in pajama pants. Are you kidding?
I am a professional.
And
I am a professional. I put on makeup and a brow. We're doing great.
we're good to move on. All right, ready? We gotta get started. And welcome to another episode of Attack of Opportunity. We're back with another episode of stuff because we just talk about things.
Yeah.
As always, this is a podcast all about Dungeons and Dragons, board games, gaming things that we like and enjoy. But today we have a very special episode because we have a very special guest, one of our players, one of the game breakers,
Oh,
Heather.
the game breaker.
Our other #1 fan disputed.
Yeah, our other our technical #1 fan, but that's just because she's forced to be there.
Teresa gets
You know?
top tier fame for the streams. I am podcast #1 fan.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah, there you go. And then we have Andrew. Hi, Andrew.
Hi.
Yeah, Andrew's
Hey,
pretty
bad,
pro.
bad,
He doesn't count.
Yes, and today we're taking maybe a new small series of episodes where we dive a little deeper into the Monster Manual monsters and bring their real life mythos. Real life mythos, that's kind of weird. But yes, the real world mythos. Yeah, there you go. Real world mythos to light. But with that, let's play the music.
So after that brutal assault by the orc warrior, the initiative now goes to you. Jose, what do you do?
I'm gonna cast and we're back. Wow, I timed that perfectly.
Oh,
For whoever's watching,
I
you know.
accidentally pulled up
me.
some kind of form of sclerosis? What the hell?
I got Gilmore Girls back, okay? I don't know what happened there.
Well,
What did I miss during the music?
We were trying to. We all of a sudden realized that we didn't know if liches had a real world mythological basis. So all of a sudden,
Yeah, it's
we're on a
I
deep
thought
Voldemort.
I thought at first you said Golden Girls. I'm like, that tracks. That one.
Nope, Gilmore Girls. Which is even weirder.
All right. So today we're talking about banshees and how they are in the Monster Manual. Right? It's in the Monster Manual.
Yes.
Okay, just making sure it's not on the other monster books that we have. And we have a resident expert on diving into weird mythology and finding out the truth. Heather.
I finally get to use all of my years of studying weird folklore and history and all of that
Yes.
that no one cares about. Yay!
Yeah. For some reason, we started this year with like Spooky Nation. Like we're just like, all right, we're talking about all the things spooky.
Lean
Hey, man,
hard
full Halloween
into
year.
it. It's great. I love Halloween all year, so let's do this.
Is this like our Halloween Town season where it's just
Oh,
everything's spooky?
But before we dive too deep into anything, let's talk about our refreshments for today.
Ooh, our
What do you guys-
beverage.
A beverage of drinks. What do you guys drink?
I finished my coffee already, but it was some nice French press with some Italian sweet cream. Classic,
Ooh.
casual.
Ooh,
Mm.
fancy.
I am trying the La Colombe with oat milk vanilla latte.
Is that the one you didn't like last time?
No. That was something else where it was like super pasteurized.
They can look similar.
Yeah, no, it was something else. It was like super pasteurized milk or some crap like that. It was not very good. This, I'm not really a fan of either. It tastes vaguely soapy. I'm hoping.
This is
Oh.
what you get. This is what you get for not spending 30 minutes making your own coffee.
No, I did. I just wanted to try something else. I want to try something. I'm trying to branch out to alternative forms of dairy. So I heard a lot of things about oat milk. And I had oat milk coffee before, but it wasn't like this. So I don't know. It might just be the brand. I'm not too terribly crazy about it.
Yeah.
Well, I found out that when you buy like milky coffees in cans, they
Mhm.
all have a weird taste.
Yeah. Never quite
So
tastes accurate for milk.
I mean, I've gotten my
Yeah.
local Foxtail coffee with oat milk, and it was totally fine. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So I am drinking technically tea. I'm drinking kombucha today
Ooh.
because it's been sitting in my fridge for like ever. I'm like, oh fuck, it's about to expire. So here we go, cherry vanilla.
Have you ever
Oh my-
seen a scuba from or Scooby from
a scoba? I think
Scoba?
scoba. The mother yeast that can.
Oh, the mother yeast.
That kombucha.
Yeah,
comes
it
from.
developed its own. It's like right on top.
Oh,
Oh, it's a little mini scoba.
It's like gummies.
It's a baby scoba.
I'm good. I'm good.
No. It still has like 2 more months, but it was just sitting there for a while. So this brand is weird because it's called Easy Kombucha or
Toby.
Big Easy Kombucha,
Mhm.
and I like kombucha because I don't know the taste of like vinegar and then sweetness into it. Like I like that part of it, but this legit just tastes like juice. So
Really, I love kombucha. It
I don't.
yeah,
shreds my stomach
I
up,
love
but
it.
I love kombucha.
I love kombucha.
Many probiotics for you.
Mhm.
Oh, the probiotics.
Yeah, there was a time when like I had just discovered kombucha and I was drinking it like every other like drink instead of
Ooh.
water, and I was like, like my stomach hurts, and
That's
and the pharmacist I was working with was like, "Are you drinking kombucha?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "How much have you had?" I'm like, "I don't know." He's like, "You're never supposed to have one of those like a week, right?" I'm like,
yeah. You ever heard of the whole like too much of a good thing is bad for you?
yeah, he's like,
Yeah,
you probably totally messed up your stomach chemistry.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I did the same thing too when I first found out about kombucha. I was trying all the brands 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't mess up my stomach too bad, but I was like, wait, I need to slow down.
You remember that time we got kombucha? Sorry, Heather. I don't mean
Oh,
to
you're
get into it,
okay.
but we got. Remember that time I got kombucha made with hops, and they actually had to ID me for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
really? And they're like, yeah,
They spend a lot of money trying to make kombucha non-alcoholic. So, which is
not that one.
Which is
They're
funny
like,
because
fuck
there's
it.
some
Yeah.
you've seen like THC infused kombuchas in legal states, and every time I'm just like, like edibles mess up your stomach along with kombucha. I can only imagine what's about to happen to your body when you drink that. You'll both be
they were like
floating and dying actively.
Like, oh, why does it hurt so much?
But I feel so good.
Hey, I feel so healthy.
Andrew, how you feeling, Andrew? Pretty groovy.
Man,
you know what's not groovy though? Banshees.
Look at that segue. Bam!
But they got the hippie.
That's why we have you here, Andrew. You can leave now. Bye. Okay. You're done for the day. Wait, no, don't do it.
Wait, no.
Oh God, he broke the screen.
God damn it.
I didn't study, Andrew. It's all to you now.
Do we have to resync now?
No.
We're good.
I hear you.
I wouldn't do that. It like completely dismantled everything.
Oh man! All right, so this episode is new, so we don't have a format for it quite yet. But essentially, it came about when Heather was like, "Hey guys, have you ever just like talk about the real mythology of like these monsters in the monster manual and compare them?" And Andrew and we're like, whoa.
And we're like, wait a minute, someone's coming up with a fresh idea. I mean,
this is crazy.
I just threw it out there as like, if you guys need some ideas in case you're running out of ideas, just in case.
So while we were not running out of ideas, the ideas that we had were like kind of like
not running out of ideas.
No, we had like 4, but they were not like the most exciting of ideas. So when you threw that out there, I was like, Andrew, don't tell her that.
Don't tell her, but this is actually a great idea.
What are you talking about? We got great ideas. And look, it's like cooking utensils at 5e. Wait.
That's a Spaldrax hosted episode, like cooking with Spaldrax. Yeah.
But finally, a day in the tax day at in Waterdeep.
How to make the most of your rations.
Counting arrows, yes or no?
How to make travel interesting? Impossible.
Trust me, I tried really, really hard.
Not so hard as how to make travel interesting and not make your party want to revolt against you.
Yeah.
No, you gotta understand the slog is part of the experience.
It's like, hey, here's a wolf that's gonna just rip out Octavio's throat. Oh, hey, here's a blizzard. Don't worry, here's another blizzard.
Oh, by the way, there's a dragon right there.
Don't worry, third blizzard.
Aren't you guys having fun? I'm having fun.
We're all battered and depressed, and you're like, yay!
Please don't vote me out.
You guys have those amongst you now. It's great, right?
To be fair, you did warn us.
Yeah. Oh no,
we didn't know what we were getting into.
But it even got to a point like, okay, fuck it, montage. Here we go.
I love montages. I love that moment.
That's definitely going to be a very interesting Drama of the Frozen Maiden review thing round table.
I mean, if we really want to get into the weeds of it before we dive into this, it's just like travel is interesting up until a certain point. I think like once you hit like level 3 or 4, it's like, okay, now it's what has become like a real world threat that like brings depth into the world and stuff like that just becomes like a minor nuisance. So you can just kind of like largely get rid of it after that. Anyways,
so because I am the guy who's just happy to be here between these two experts, I am gonna be the host, as if I wasn't that already. But anyways, let's get started with Banshees. Andrew, you're a resident D&D expert, right? You play that game.
Sometimes.
Only for about 17 years now. So.
All right, cool. So Banshees, cool, hot or not?
Hot or not? Actually, it's funny you should say that because in the Faerun lore, Banshees were known.
Wait. Hold on. Before you keep going too far, I just want to ask also, Heather, what knowledge do you have with Banshees, with D&D specific?
Actually, nothing. I think there was like one Banshee we faced off on, but I've never like ran a campaign with a Banshee, and I've never really done too much with them. So I know nothing about banshee in game, so I'm actually really excited to hear about what's going on here.
Sweet. So this is gonna be good then. So we're gonna get the perspective from the DM and the real world spooky girl.
Spooky girl.
Andrew.
I mean,
Banshee.
the player's knowledge is probably like, oh shit, banshees have that one move that drops everyone to 0. Fail. So, anyways, okay, so banshees in Faerun lore are described as elves. For some reason, particularly female elves, but it says elves that were of like unnatural beauty and charisma, but instead used it for to corrupt instead of bringing more joy into the world. And because of that, when they died, their souls become corrupted and they become a horrifying version of what they once were, and they are doomed to forever haunt the area of their own demise, and they can't like look upon their own visage. Like it sends them into a rage if they do that. But they're still they're still like vain, so they still like collect like beautiful artifacts and stuff like that. But they can't stand to look at their own selves. Yeah, there's a lot to work with in terms of that. Like you can probably like do something like probably stereotypical where like, oh, like there was an elf, she was a homewrecker, blah blah blah, and then you know she died and now she's a banshee. Or you could do something a bit more bigger with that. Like there was like an elf who was like a very like corrupt like kind of politician sort of person who didn't have the best the people's best interests at heart, but he got by with like an easy smile and a wink kind of a deal. And then when he died, boom, he became a banshee because he used his good looks and charms to bring evil about into the world instead of good.
Yeah.
That is literally it for banshees.
That's it? Nothing else? Oh my god, there's so much more interesting.
Yeah, I mean...
I mean, the most scary thing about Banshee is that whale attack thing that they have, which literally drops everybody to 0 hit points.
Oh, that's amazing.
I mean, it's something there's like a little bit more if you really want to like dig deeper into it. There's a little bit more in there where it's like, oh, a banshee like haunts an area of like 5 miles out from where they died or something like that. So you can probably, if you want to, it doesn't explicitly say this in the monster manual, but you could probably do something where like, oh, there's a banshee haunting this village, and obviously because they're undead, because it's an undead spirit that's cursed to forever walk the blah blah blah. It's gonna keep coming back. So what you could probably do is that you could probably have something be like, okay, it's within this 5 mile radius. We have to find the original body, put the rest, yada yada. Shoot it with with the shotgun shells full of salt. I don't know. Hit it with a couple rods of iron. Do your whole Winchester thing, and then and then everyone levels up. But I mean, other than that, it just There's
so in the monster manual, I was reading just real quick, and there's a wording here that says that. That the elves are afflicted with the banshee's curse. So does that mean that it happens before they die? Like they start like losing their elves' beauty, I guess you could say. So it says here already. It says elves afflicted by the banshee's curse experience no gladness feelings, only distress in the presence of the living. As the curse takes its toll, their minds and bodies decay until death completes their transformation into undead monsters.
See, but then the very opening paragraph kind of it contradicts it.
It says undead remnants, so that's why it's kind of interesting. I will take that into more of like, I mean, you can even make a small little short adventure when it comes to that, where like, there's this one elf, because that's something else that we don't really explore in D&D too much, isn't it? Like just elf culture in general.
Yeah.
So, like, maybe, like, you find an area where a bunch of elves, and one of them is just out of the ordinary. He's a little depressed, so you're trying to figure out why. And it turns out it's a curse, and then you can deep dive down into, like, how to save this dude. And then at the end, you can't, because he's just already being cursed. And he turns into a banshee, and you have to fight him, and then you kill him, and then you cry, and then you're like, oh no!
Or
the elf!
Or it could be something where it's like, I'm going to use Raise Dead on this pile of bones here, and you didn't realize it was an elf. And it's like, oh god, oh great, it's not a Skellyman, it's a banshee. Good. Now everyone has to make a Constitution saving throw. Thanks.
Where did we encounter the banshee? We did it in Rhyme, right?
I just
Was
threw
it
it on
Rhyme?
there.
Yeah.
Oh, Oh, okay, just for fun.
Just for funsies. Yeah, like, you know what spice up this forest? Banshees.
Banshee.
Oh, that's right, the forest. And
That
Octavio was
was
the only
it.
one that was able to do the saving throw.
Oh gosh.
And then fireball.
I guess it does make sense for them to be like elves, because elves in mythology are usually associated with fairies, and
Mhm.
banshees are considered to be fairies, like literally sometimes translated as like the fairy lady or the woman of the fairy mound or things like that. So that makes sense. But it's actually considered a privilege to be visited by a banshee. Like it is called a
Oh.
fairy privilege because it is basically, she's not a harbinger of death, she's just the herald of it. So, it's a don't shoot the messenger situation. She's not
Oh,
bringing the
right.
death to the house, she's just announcing its arrival.
Oh.
Or its its arrival, or its passing, things like that.
So
Huh.
wait. So why is it? Hold on. I'm confused. So why is it a good thing that someone's like, hey, someone's gonna die? So it's like, oh, well, good. At least now I have time to get my affairs in order. Like,
So that's another part of it, is that typically if you hear the banshee, it means that somebody you love is going to pass, or someone that you know, or someone in town. But if you if the person that is going to die doesn't hear her wails, which is interesting. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so it's like, okay, who all heard that? Oh, you
Yeah.
did it? You go into this padded room and do not drink anything.
Go and sit there for a bit until we figure this out.
And then they die of dehydration.
So let's dive a little bit then into the real world one, since the D&D one is so short.
Yeah.
Where does it come from? When did it start? Like, what's the origin of this? Because it's very interesting. I love that little fact of like, if you don't hear it, you're the one who's gonna die.
Yeah, so she has a lot of names, but classically, like Messenger of Death, the Fairy Lady, Lady of the Other World, Hag of the Mist, Little Washerwoman, and then Woman of the Fairy Mound, because she's said to be connected to these earthen mounds throughout the Irish countryside that are called Tumuli. Again, have no idea how to pronounce this properly, so we're just going to go with that. But they're traditionally like earthen mounds that cover graves or mass graves, and they become the home of spirits. The thing with banshees, though, is that they're also associated with a traditional style of mourning in Ireland called keening. So keening women were active, like professionals who were known to go to the graveside or the viewing of the body to mourn over the corpse. And it was like a truly like spiritual, ceremonial kind of mourning. So like rhythmic songs, chanting, prayers, mournful crying, and it was very much like a spiritual experience.
Now, hold on. When you say professionals, are you mean like these people are paid to mourn?
Yeah,
people?
they were hired by families. It started in about the 12th century. They were hired by families to mourn for the dead. It was seen as like an honor, or you were great enough to be able to have this privilege. But it kind of fell out of favor, especially towards like the 18th century and onwards. And banshees are actually said to be the spirits of these keening women, the women that were, that's why it's kind of seen as a privilege in my mind, or as described, is because they're there to mourn for the dead, not to deliver that death upon them. So it's seen as like the fairies are even mourning for your family, because they're actually associated with Irish bloodlines specifically. They're said to follow the Macs and the O's, like McDonald's, O'Donnell's, things like that. So they're said to even more like they're said to even tell of when an extremely like off extended family member dies off in a different country, or bring the news of distant family members in a different country before news even arrives of their death.
So I wonder.
Holy crap!
I wonder if there's like tales of like Irish immigrants coming to America or something like that, and then they have a banshee visiting them, like in the 5 boroughs or something.
Exactly. No, there are actually stories of that. There's specifically ones from like Ohio, and I think from like Pennsylvania, where they've had these interactions with banshees just appearing.
And then they're like, oh crap, I got to go back home real quick to,
Yeah, or a letter arrives a few weeks later saying like your family member passed.
Huh.
Yeah.
That is so. Actually, hold on.
So
I had a question, and I immediately forgot it. Go on. Sorry.
No.
I was gonna say, so because like my preconception of this was like, like the little banshees from Matrix, like they like wah, and then they kill you, like. But apparently, there seems to be more of like almost like
It's
like the ferryman. They help you
Yes.
transition to death. They like welcome you and
It's-
and make it a little easier.
well, it's not necessarily like that they're going to interact with you or they're carrying you away, but it's literally described as like a vocal lament for the dead is what like keening women did, and that's kind of what banshees are described as doing, of like they're just mourning the passing of this family member. But they're always seen alone unless someone great or holy dies, and then multiple banshees will arrive to herald the message of this death that's about to occur.
So okay. So I mean, I know it's not as like pants shittingly terrifying as they are in 5e, but I still imagine it would be a bad thing if you hear a banshee.
There's
it's like the equivalent of having a bird hit your window and die. Like, oh no, someone's gonna die in this house or something like that.
Yeah.
So there are just absolutely fucking terrifying things about the banshee. It has less to do with her appearance to you, though, which I want to clarify how this banshee actually looks in mythology. So typically, she'll take the form of a young, beautiful maiden, sometimes the form of a young woman from the family who may have passed too young, like too early, or as an old crone. She always has long flowing hair, and she's sometimes seen combing it, and that comb is incredibly important to her. Think like the most important possession to her. But she is.
Why does that sound so familiar?
I mentioned it earlier. I was like the comb. It's all about the comb. But she's also known to be incredibly fucking tiny. I'm talking. She's a foot to 4 feet tall. Tiny,
Really?
thin little fairy. Literally, like she's said to be so small and minuscule.
I'm sorry. I just had the image of like hearing a banshee wail, and you like look out the door, you're like.
It's a cockroachy. What are you talking about? Yeah, just like a garden gnome size. She's also known to wear like a cloak, and have permanently red, like puffy, streaked eyes from crying constantly.
Yeah.
Sometimes she is seen just standing out in a field, standing at the doorway of a house, or she's also been seen in like riverways washing the bloodied clothes or armor of who is about to die.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now that.
That's cool.
Gonna take that and blah, blah.
Yeah.
I loved that one. I will say, so her shrieks are known to shatter glass and literally shake the earth around her. She is said to arrive just before or just after the time of death to herald its coming to the house. She said sorry. So the comb is the most important part because if you interact, like you can interact with a banshee.
Mhm.
If you see her, there's a possibility you could scare her off. There were stories essentially about someone scaring the banshee and her dropping her comb, or him trying to steal the comb from her, and essentially she haunts him and will follow them to like their house and will like not stop wailing until they return the comb. But there were stories of once you try to return the comb, there was one in particular where he was like, I used tongs from my fireplace to give her back her comb. And when he did that, she struck it like the tongs so fast that they literally shattered into two. Like just You can't touch
So
her.
there's-
She will get her
there's
vengeance.
Strong ladies.
Yeah, she will in fact get her vengeance.
So how does one scare a banshee? Do you just yell back at it and be like, "Yeah, how's that feel? You don't like that, do you?"
Or if you're just ugly
like,
enough.
I
Can you
guess-
imagine?
There were some stories of like them just walking upon her and she would, disappear. And instantly leave her comb. But that comb it in
Do not touch the comb.
Yeah, to me it reminded me of like the hags have like a bag they carry, right? Like they're
Yeah. They're,
that's what it reminded me of, is that special possession that like helps her keep her power, but it had nothing to do with her power. It's just her possession.
Right.
That's actually kind of interesting that you can get the jump on something that's usually seen as like a herald, like you said, like a herald of death, and just be like, ah! and they like drop their comb.
I will say, don't insult her. Because if you insult her, she has a much higher chance of harming you or maiming you, like taking a limb, popping out an eye, things like that, before she leaves.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you gotta treat them with the most respect when they show up, and don't touch their fucking.
You can't
comb.
tell them to shut up, though. They won't be happy about it. You can. They'll fall silent. If you say shut up, they will fall silent.
So
or if you ask someone.
So what is like the proper way of dealing with a banshee? Do you just let them scream it out and then they go away, or is there something where you have to like acknowledge them, or?
So if you acknowledge them, they do fall silent. I think it's just the concept that like they are there to tell you that something is about to happen, so you acknowledging them, they've done their job. Like,
okay,
done. All right, you heard me. Cool. But if you ask someone if they heard them, they still fall silent, as if to, nope, wasn't here. You're going crazy.
So the gaslight check, gotcha.
Yeah, a little bit of gaslight. Well, I'd imagine it'd be especially fun with the idea that they follow bloodlines. So someone in a D&D campaign, one person will hear them where the other people don't have connection to that bloodline, can't hear them.
That I'm already getting like little ideas and stuff, like little things.
Someone with a draconic bloodline that
No.
spans back millennia, and then you find
No,
creepy ladies by the river
Casual
watching-
fucking human.
washing a bloody cloak. That's really fancy.
That's
for this
actually.
area.
That's actually. I'm actually.
That's not my character does.
No, I'm actually really disappointed now that they didn't take some of that real world stuff and put it into like a lot of that stuff would fit perfectly into like Curse of Strahd.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the same thing.
To me, it feels like a bit of a cop-out saying, like, oh, she was a scornful, adulterous woman. Like, no, she was the mourner dedicated to mourning this family's bloodline. Like, that is so much cooler.
But
Yeah.
But I mean, how ominous would it be if like you guys were going through Barovia or whatnot, and you have to crest a river or something like that, and as you're making your way over it, Righton looks over the water and he sees a washerwoman washing his bloody armor. Nobody else can see it. It's just him. You know, like that.
Exactly.
You know, or you're like traversing through a forest and one person hears a wail, nobody else hears it. Like that. You know, like
Well, that means that the people who didn't hear that are all gonna die except for that one person.
Oh, another fun concept. Her voice is so unearthly that it is said that she can be heard from towns over, that she can throw her voice miles away.
Well,
So you can hear her. She might not be anywhere near you, but she's still there. Or she could be
Well-
right behind you, which is even more terrifying. You hear the scream off in the distance, you turn around, right there. Oh, just a little,
sounds-
oh.
I'm getting crossovers with El Silbón and La Llorona.
A little bit, yeah. It reminds me a little bit of that La Llorona story, and especially like,
Yeah.
she.
Well, so I don't think I've told you that one, but like I told Andrew El Silbón, which is essentially like the boogeyman, but for like Latin America.
Yeah,
And he takes kids, and it's called El Silbón, or the Whistler Man, or the Whistling Man.
sounds weird.
And the whole thing about it is that you hear his whistle, that means that there's something bad's gonna happen. But it's the opposite. If you hear it really close, he's really far away. If you hear it really far away, he's right behind you.
what is with all these traditions of like whistling being bad luck in some form? Because like sailors have it too, whistling up a storm or whistling up the winds, like things like that. Like you're not supposed to whistle. I always got in trouble as a kid for whistling because I had very superstitious grandparents.
It's because it's unnatural. The natural movement of your mouth.
Even better, I was born on Friday the 13th, so really, I'm just like, let's go bad luck.
Man was not meant to make this noise. It's a whistle.
Yeah, right.
You know what? Burn him in the stake.
Burn him at the stake. She knows how to whistle. She's learned 3 times. I have.
Yeah, but definitely a lot of like La Llorona type thing. La Llorona is more with like, at least the one I know is like adultery and stuff like that. Not so much like.
Yeah, but it wasn't about her adultery. It was about her husband's adultery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the drowning of children. Yeah. But she's seen as like outright evil, where like the banshee is more just associated with death. Yeah,
she's just there.
Right. Which I like that because it leaves a lot more room to it not being such a like, oh, you gotta fight it or you gotta destroy it.
Exactly.
It's a lot of like a, oh, what do we do? What's happening? She's not necessarily evil. Why is he washing my clothes? Oh my god, am I gonna die?
Yeah, exactly that.
There's something more haunting about like what's the word I'm looking for here? Like
she's just standing there, menacingly.
Like the unaligned nature of it's just here. Mm-hmm. Like something bad will happen, you know. But like vanquishing the banshee itself is not going to prevent that. It's just you know, to symbolize.
Well, it's like death. It has no side it chooses. It just is. The banshee is there. I mean, I again see it as like such a. To me, it seems like she's still carrying on her duties of mourning and honoring this family for centuries to come, even as a spiritual form. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's so much more interesting that she was an adulteress and now she's cursed. Ha ha ha! Like
so what? Okay, so you keep saying that, but like, where does the adultery part come out? Did I miss something?
No. It does. Oh, that comes from the D&D lore.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the what you were talking about. I was like,
that's what.
No, from the D&D lore.
That's what I'm saying. Like you said it wasn't going to be dark, but I mean, it is at least more interesting than the, you know, I don't want to say whitewashed, but like I said, this kind of bland. Like, oh, it was a evil elf that died. Now fuck them.
No, it's the classic story of like evil woman. She used her sexuality to gain power, so now she's cursed for all of eternity. Like, come on, stop it. That's a boring ass story. We've been there, done that. Yeah. Like, there's
also it says that it's an elf that was blessed with great beauty that failed to use their gift to bring joy to the world. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, like she was just born attractive. Like, what was she supposed to do?
What if she just wants to play board games all day? Why don't she have to bring joy to the world?
What if their passion is like auditing or some crap?
Yeah. Doesn't really love stamp collecting. Okay, just leave them the fuck alone.
Yeah, you're right. It makes it it puts it in a very small niche. Like, you can play with that, like with that little bit of information, but it's such a small little like, oh, that's it.
Well, it's the classic argument of like, oh, a woman with power, she must be evil.
Yeah.
It's just
that's dumb.
It's boring. It's boring as hell.
I think there is like a happy medium here where you can have something be where like maybe it was an elf that was cursed, and because of like it doesn't have to specifically be like the adulterous crap or
you could say like she was cursed because she like lost someone close to her and she fell so deep into her mourning that she allowed the kingdom to fall to ruin or something like that. Like, you could still use that and say she didn't live up to her potential, but you could also bring in the mourning aspect.
Or you can go like the whole like Shadowfell thing where it's just like, oh, this was a person of absolute purity, and and because they died, all like the negative energy got siphoned into them, and now they become this corrupting thing. And and because of that, like now you can start using the stat block because they are this corrupted thing, but they can also be like a presence around this village or something. Like, you know,
and and I will make that my head is close to like low level adventures where like she's an ever-present presence.
Yeah.
Like that's always there, and it kind of like it can be used to push the story, you know, drop some like little bits of plot hooks for the players.
Yeah.
and it can be terrifying without being like, oh, you gotta fight her. And like, okay, there's a mystery here. There's weird shit happening, and then figuring out the lore, the one that you just explained to us, putting that in like, oh, so this is like you finding that information throughout, and then connecting the pieces to like, got it. So
you
this
use her
Shadowfell,
as like a messenger rather than an enemy, which could be way more interesting. Like you see her washing the clothes, you see her standing off in the distance, like, or you know, before something happens, the whale.
Or like, you know, everybody's like, oh, we keep hearing the scream, and then like as you're talking to people, you realize that one of the persons is actually not hearing it; they're just pretending to hear. Or you know, like little things like that can like start revealing the mystery of whatever's happening in this town.
Or it could be something like, let's say you have to go to a village and you got to get the mayor's help or whatever, and as you're going to this village, this deafening cry is heard by everybody. Oh crap, someone of big importance and influence in this village is gonna die. I wonder who it could be. We have to solve this real quick before the burgomaster, you know.
Or like you guys are just inside of the village in the middle of the night, you look out and you see a gathering of banshees out in the fields just outside of the village, and the whales begin just before an attack or something like that. Somebody's gonna die. Like
it can also be used to throw off the players. Like, you know, you think it's the burgomaster, but maybe he's not the most influential part of his town.
Or it's the next guy over, like a next town over.
Or it could be just like a guy behind the curtain type thing, right? The burgomaster's just a face, but that's all the information the players have. They can start revealing things.
Or it could be something where it's like this maybe don't outright say it's a banshee, like kind of leave it a bit of mystery, but something is terrorizing this town, and then you kind of localize it that it's this specific family, but like their influence of the family is like they're, you know, the people that they're interacting is being terrorized, and then it funnels into this family, and then you find out like maybe this little girl like happened upon this this mysterious woman in the woods, got the drop on her, and oh, she has a really pretty comb, I'm gonna take it and comb my hair with it, and then okay, look, we need that comb back. I can't explain to you why. So I mean, like there are things you can, I mean,
you could even ramp that up a little bit, like have the banshee begin haunting their home, the little girl falls sick and there's a mysterious illness. I mean, you could really like, not typically associated with banshee lore, but you could still just add that in for flavoring. You know, the idea that she's connected to this fairy world and siphoning energy, like blah blah blah.
So first things first, based on what you said, I would change the strength stat because you said that they're so strong they can shatter iron tongs, and they have literally 1 strength in 5e. So
I was looking at that too.
Yeah. So I would do that, but then like their whale ability, what I would do, because you said that it's so powerful that it causes the earth to shake. So I would have
shatters, blast, earth shaking, all the good fun stuff.
So, well, it says it has no effect on constructs. I would probably leave it that way just so constructs don't get immediately screwed over. But what I would do is that if you succeed the save, you take the psychic damage, but then you get knocked prone because it's like a shock wave of sound.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, but
I would also add something in there to introduce the comb and like be like a what is it?
Not quite
the lich thing. What's it called?
A phylactery.
Phylactery. Maybe something along those lines, but not like, oh, if you destroy it, she dies, but more like she's attached to it. If you grab it, or there's something, you know.
It's like a haunted item.
Yeah,
a haunted item.
Yeah, it would be something like the banshee always knows where the location of the comb, you know, something like that.
Yeah,
and she won't stop following you until you return it. I feel like you could have a fun moment with like a death touch or something like that. Like if the player hands it back to her, there's a moment where he
you have to do you gotta do a save. If you fail, you lose your hand.
Oh, yes. Yeah. We know Andrew loves a good maiming.
I mean, there are things. I mean, I would probably even do stuff like if you succeed the save on the whale, you would be deafened for like a couple rounds or something like that. Because I mean, because if it's that loud, you know. But then on top of that, you can take all that flavor and then just throw it into your world as, you know, like you can definitely spice this up. with what you
Yeah.
told us.
Oh, absolutely.
Specifically, like I would even obviously introduce a lot of the real world mythos into it, but also like even give it like I would say even like layer actions, to it, like small baby layer actions for whatever they're hunting.
I think that's even more fun with playing with like the size of the banshee. Like she could literally pop up in your window on the 3rd floor and just be there. Just a 1-foot banshee with hair flowing in the wind and bright red eyes staring into your soul.
Yeah,
like,
I would definitely have it to where you can change size from tiny to medium, like kind of like, mess with the two. I don't know.
And I wouldn't make a chaotic evil though at that point. I would just lawful evil.
I think lawful neutral. I think she's a neutral entity in my mind.
Yeah.
D&D, yes, probably evil, but I like lawful evil. That works. She has she has rules.
I think that all depends on how the banshee came about. Like if it was something like if we're going with like the 5e mythos, then it would be evil. But if it's something like we were talking about where it's like it just happened to be an elf that died at the wrong place at the wrong time, then maybe they're like unaligned because they're just following the mechanisms of like the curse.
Yeah.
So would you then make this a higher challenge rating? Why by adding all this? Like, well, any of you guys. So like, would you like? Because at this point, right? Like, the real world mythos is bringing this monster to such a high level. Because right now it's pretty much like, she shows up, the party beats the shit out of it, done.
She evaporates.
Like
a wisp.
I will bring her now with adding all this stuff to it, like almost to like a. Not final boss, but like mid boss, or even not even a mid boss. Just like one of those creatures that are like the Coathel or whatever. Like they're just there, like they're there to help.
Yeah.
Not really, like they're minding their own business. Like they're not like, or like a golden dragon. Like they don't care. It's not.
She's not involved in what you're doing. She's just giving you the heads up.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like I would probably make it to where like a banshee represents not like evil or darkness in the world, but just like a different aspect of just like a sense of otherness in the world that gives it to where like your players are not like the end all be all of it. But I would probably have it to where like if you try to mess with a banshee, there's ramifications, like heavy ramifications.
I was about to say you could make it even more interesting if you wanted to have like a true evil banshee. You could have it something along the lines of a man stole the banshee's comb and she cursed him with her life, essentially, with becoming a banshee himself, because he mocked her or something along those lines. By the way, they're typically always women. Like, not much of a storyline for men becoming banshees or anything like that. But it could be pretty cool. Like, if you wanted to have like a true evil guy who was like, I'm going to steal this banshee's comb to possess her power, and she's like, do you want my power? Okay.
I would say like he would like slowly descend into madness, right? And then he hires the adventurers to save his life, not telling them the full information that he's the one who caused it to himself. And then the banshee becomes the evil, right, to the characters. But then as they explore, like, oh, maybe she's not that bad. Like, this guy's just an asshole.
Yeah, someone has the bloodline connection and understands that she's not true evil. Like, no, we have to help her.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting too. See, we haven't even talked about the bloodline connection. Like, you mentioned it a couple times already, but like, how would you make a mechanic out of that? A game mechanic out of that?
Oh gosh, so they are said to follow lineages from basically like ancient Irish families. So if you have somebody who is supposed to be like a noble from, say, the D&D version of Ireland countryside, that chose like an O or a Mac for their last name, you can really play with that. But yeah, I mean, if you have somebody that is a noble background or even just a wanderer who left their home country,
right.
I mean, it's a blood.
Is there room here for a patron type thing?
Ooh, not necessarily, but I guess if
not big enough.
Well, no, hold on.
I guess if there was like a god of death or a god specifically of mourning ceremonial practices.
There is an undead patron for warlocks. So what you could do is that the banshee could be
Messenger.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
like they're not the patron themselves, but like, you can't gaze upon the patron without your mind breaking to 1,000 pieces.
It's like a herald,
Right.
essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the angel heralds. Like you can't hear the voice of God, but you can talk through an angel.
Right.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
And
Interesting.
and then maybe the banshee can deliver like ominous messages kind of that way, like not like be like, hey, look, I'm just gonna give you an update on your powers, but just like off in the woods somewhere.
Yeah, like what we've been talking about. Like you see her, you hear her, you see her washing your clothes or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
I can see that. I think I think that would be a very interesting way to have like the whole patron communication thing.
You could
But-
even like turn it into like dream interpretation. Like you see a broken sword at the feet of the banshee, or you see the town burning behind her. Interpretation.
Interpretation, things that may or may not happen.
I think what we can do here is that instead of having be Irish, if we're gonna take the bloodline thing and put it into 5e, I think, hold on, let me turn down my music because it's really loud. It just got really loud out of nowhere. Okay, so instead of doing the Irish thing, maybe we can take the two and mash them together, and so it's like people from like elven lineages are more prominently visited by banshee. Like even like half elves kind of a deal,
Yes.
like and it could be something like if you're going into let's go back to the Shadowfell. Like if you're an elf that's in the Shadowfell, you see like banshees out of the corner of your eyes and you hear wails and stuff like that. That doesn't particularly mean like anything bad might happen to you, but because you are an elf, that lineage is following you.
Yeah.
So something to give a little bit extra flavor to like the elf culture that, like Jose said, we don't really know much about.
Yeah.
in 5e. So,
No, I love that. Especially if you could work in just the countryside aspect of it. Like anybody that is associated with like Celtic mythology in game, because sometimes we use them for patrons, things like that. Like that could also be a nice little stepping stone. Anybody associated with death. Any of those death walkers or what have you probably could have a fun time just as because I imagine it just being like a messenger you see along the way.
Or maybe it's like you're a necromancy wizard and like maybe the banshee shows up because like you're kind of messing with the balance of life and death there. So, so it's like, hey, you might want to pump the brakes a bit on that raised dead dude. You're gonna hit the wall.
She's like, I announced this, please stop undoing it.
or it could,
I'm screaming too much, my throat's a little dry right
or it could be something where like the banshee, like let's say you have like a group of murder hobos, like the worst kind of players. Maybe the banshee could be like a herald that like something is coming for you guys, and then that's when like the next session, like the chaotic good vengeance paladin that you guys pissed off a couple sessions, like, hey, he's here, and then the banshee's like, I told you.
Beery comes through the bushes with the banshee on her shoulder and she's like, I'm here.
Which one of these fuckers messed with you?
Who took your fucking comb?
now the bounty has become the bounty hunter. Turns out I'm pretty good at this job.
Oh man,
but
that's interesting. I think I really enjoy the Mythos. The real world is way beefier than the monster.
Oh god,
the monster manual.
Question: where does the word banshee come from?
It is supposed to just mean like the fairy lady in Irish. Like
really?
Irish language. Not 100% sure if that is the exact translation, and I have no idea how to pronounce it in that particular language. So the fairy lady is essentially the banshee.
Now here's a real interesting thing, because you said it's a lot associated with fairies and stuff. Would you include banshees in the Feywild?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, Shadowfell, come on, dude, that's a given.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But like in the Feywild, maybe.
I 100% would, because I see like fairies as they are neither good nor evil. They are just as
Dick.
they are. There are good and there are
They all
evil.
dicks.
I mean, they can be good or they can be evil, but to us as mortal beings, like we have no
Yeah.
concept of like how they're dealing with their mortality.
I mean, I
They're-
think it does that. I think it's puts them in a nice place because, like, if death is in every fucking realm, right?
Right.
So I don't see why they wouldn't be there if they're not.
yeah,
Maybe I will visually flavor them a little differently, right? So they're they fit better with the
probably
with the
their
Feywild.
young maiden form, rather
Right,
than old
right,
road form.
Definitely like diminutive little like combing
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Maybe it's something where you coming across the banshee while they're combing their hair or something like that. Like, it actually be like a good sign in the Feywild, or as opposed to like hearing the wail in the Shadowfell or something,
Yeah.
or maybe it's something like, to get the approval of the Sealy court, I need you to bring me a banshee's comb, and everyone's like, ooh, like.
Oh, that's not happening. Good luck.
I mean, but that could be something like that. I could totally see a fairy court being like, I need you to go and fuck with this spirit to get my approval.
And I imagine she wouldn't be ranked fairly high within the Feywild, like the
No, I,
or anything like that. She would definitely be like a spirit who became a fairy, essentially.
right.
Oh,
Is how
that
it's kind of told.
that makes me think that like banshees get bullied in the Feywild.
No.
You made that.
And you just come across the banshee. It's like, somebody took my comb.
Oh, no, is that what she's
You're like,
crying?
all right, let's go get that fucking comb back.
Yeah. That could also be a fun concept. The concept that like banshees are lowest on the totem pole in the Feywild. They are being bullied. You have to help the banshees just to get their own
Aw.
quiet space. That's why they're wailing.
Oh, that's so sad.
Now,
See?
now make a
Boom,
I'm
comb.
gonna write that down.
Now make a comb with your fucking teeth. Give me that gun.
Or the
That's
artificer
funny.
befriends the banshee by making her a whole bunch of combs. Look, I put it on chain for you. No one can steal it now.
Look at all these different materials we made it out of. They're so pretty.
Yeah.
They're all yours.
Check this out. This one can fit in your pocket. It's like the switchblade comb. I mean that to me that's interesting because you could take something that's evil and make it like an ally.
Yeah,
That's
I like
kinda
that
fun.
idea. That's fun.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna do that for the. I'm gonna write that one down for the Witchlight.
I think that would be interesting because, like, to me, yeah, fairies, they're neither good nor evil by human standards. They are just doing their own fucking thing.
Mm-hmm. And it's
That's
usually to the detriment of the party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But they're just having fun.
Oh, it could definitely be something where it's like, oh, here, take this comb as a symbol of our like olive branch between us. Unbeknownst to you, it's a banshee's comb. And you're like, man, this crazy
Pass
woman's
the
been
curse onto you.
this crazy woman's been following me for the past 2 weeks. Wait a minute. And like you start to...
Oh my god, just like a very tired looking sweaty man runs up to you. He's just like, please, take the comb.
all right, get away from me.
Jeez. Okay.
Like, looks like he hasn't slept in 3 weeks, on the verge of death.
Terry, did you actually give him the comb? I know they fucking took it. Don't say anything. Shut up. Don't say anything. Shut up. Anyway, this magic comb. Yeah, I get that. Okay, so wow, that immediately makes the Banshee infinitely more interesting.
Oh gosh, she's fantastic. I think
All
it's
right.
fantastic lore.
Do we have time to get into the Dullahan now? Because we're already almost an hour in, and let me
That
tell you
sounds good.
the Dullahan in 5e is bare bones in terms of mythos.
I have a fair amount on the Dullahan, but it is the polar opposite of the Banshee. That man is evil. Evil.
I mean, prepare to be disappointed when it comes to the 5e mythos for the Dullahan.
That's sad. I mean, there's a bit of a moment where he might not be
So-
true evil, but okay.
So we can talk about it, but let's not dive into the whole 1D stuff. 1D and D.
Okay, that's fine.
So for time's sakes.
Oh no, we're not.
All right.
Oh, we're gonna talk about a system that we're never gonna play. Okay.
All right, Andrew, tell us a little bit about the Dullahan.
So the Dullahan. Dullahans are great warriors or knights or commanders that were decapitated in a field of battle.
Wait, didn't we talk about these guys before?
That's about it.
Damn, that's also a bullet point I have for the background. So they just copy pasted. Okay.
Yeah, they literally just went to Wikipedia. It's like, all right, cool. I mean, it's something where it's like Dullahans are described as like knights or commanders, and they do follow like their own kind of like wicked form of chivalry, but they're constantly looking for their severed head. I mean, it's the headless horseman from
Sleepy Hollow.
I almost said Spooky Hollow.
Spooky
Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow, exactly. Much more interesting stat block than lore because there's a lot. They have legendary actions, mythic actions, and a challenge rating, a pretty serious challenge rating. But in terms of lore, I mean, I guess with D&D less is more because then you can like work with it a lot more instead of being put into a box. But I mean, so
Okay. Yeah. So the Dullahan mythos is a lot more interesting because it actually has like ancient ties.
It would kind of have to be.
Yeah. I mean, like,
I think bare minimum at this point will be more interesting.
Granted, the overall baseline description is exactly that: a soldier, decapitated in battle, eternally searching for his corporeal head. He's also called, instead of the Dullahan, the Dark Fairy, or in Irish, the Gan Sean, Ceann, or without a head. Literally the headless horseman.
Okay.
But their origin of him is a lot more interesting because he's actually associated with an ancient god of fertility. Specifically, so an ancient Celtic god of fertility, Crom-Dubh, was worshipped in an era when human sacrifice was the most popular. Specifically worshipped by the ancient king, Tigrimus. Oh,
Is that a real life king?
a real life king? Yes, he ruled from 1621 through 1544 BC. So Crom-Dubh was worshipped in a very particular way through human sacrifice because he required the sacrifices to be decapitated. Specifically decapitated.
Okay.
After the rise of Christianity in Ireland in the 6th century and throughout, basically sacrificial rituals dwindled away and were condemned, and that was when the first Dullahan stories actually started to rise. So some believe that Crom-Dubh, the original fertility god, actually took a physical form in this world in order to continue getting his beheaded sacrifices.
Okay.
Okay.
Far more interesting.
Right. Yeah.
So much better.
Also, Christians coming in again and making things boring.
Making things boring. Hey, stop those sacrifices.
Stop chopping off those heads. How dare you guys?
Wow.
Okay. PC police over here.
Man, they're just justifying everything. Now I can't just.
So they're also associated with.
I think at the moment where it's like, I kind of side with the Christians on this one.
Yeah, it was one of those things of like, yeah, I probably shouldn't chop up any more heads. Just
we're not talking about getting rid of like oral history tradition or some shit. Like, hey, can we please stop chopping off people's heads?
Can we not with this?
There's a guy in the crowd. Boo!
Can we?
Chop off that head.
Actually, it was probably more like, can we stop chopping off people's heads for your god?
yeah, actually.
I have a new god for you. Let's try this. Eat this cracker, drink this wine.
I'm not saying the Christians were 100% in the right, but I kind of see where they were coming from on this one. Anyway.
Yeah, it was one of those things of like, makes sense.
Boring.
There's people on both sides of this argument.
So they are still associated with like Northern Ireland, but very specifically County Down and County Sligo, which is quite a name.
Really?
But unlike banshees, the Dullahan are basically there to summon the soul of the dying person rather than the death warning. They are there to collect you, and they are coming for your ass. Which is
okay. Does that mean that the banshee's like, yo, death's coming, and then this massive headless horseman comes in?
Pretty much. Banshee's like, you need to get
I am death.
You need to get your little gold piece and close those gates.
Hey, I just want to give you a heads up. Death's coming for you. When? Now.
Midnight.
Through the wall.
That's what the Dullahan just Kool-Aid mans are waiting to the end.
So they are said to appear at sunset or at midnight of certain Irish festivals or feast days. So not always riding about, but it is basically those days you should be inside and close your windows and do not peek out again till sunrise.
So this is how they used to enforce curfew, huh?
Probably. Because
hey, what's gonna happen if I go outside? You're gonna get decapitated and summoned, bro.
Well, if you look at the Dullahan as they are walking through your town, or if you happen to look at him, you're gonna be blinded, either totally or in one eye, by either him throwing a basin of blood in your face, or whipping you in the eye with his whip that is made of human spines.
That first, okay,
that's metal.
That second one is awesome. That first one's just rude. Where it's just like, we're just like, hey kid,
I can't get over the fact that he's carrying his head and a basin of blood while riding horseback through a fucking town. Just waiting. Just who's gonna look? Who's gonna look? Who's gonna look?
just throw it in your eye, rides away. By the way, I have hepatitis. No!
Oh my god.
Okay, so wait, what was this like? He flays your eyes with a
Sorry, he whips
with a whip made of spines.
Yeah, with a spinal cord whip. I know.
I like to imagine that the whip is like this big, and he gets really close to you and just.
I was imagining like a lot of little rat tails, like very long, interconnected whip.
No, it's a spinal cord, but then when he whips it, it like extends.
Turns into like a bone chain.
Okay. So first of all, before we go any further, the 5e Dullahan has a couple attacks. One where it throws a skull, and then another one with a battle axe. I'm changing that to where one of them's a spinal whip.
Yeah,
you don't need to. And I will say the description of Dullahan so much cooler. So appearance wise,
I mean, you can easily change the fiery skull attack to just be like acid, and you go blind.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
I just can't get over them. Is that a spine? Ah, my eye! Why? And then it's like, fuck you, kid. And like spills blood in your eye.
Don't look at me.
This guy's like the biggest like douchebag out there.
Just wait until you hear the description. So like they're seen as headless riders on a black horse, either carrying his head under his arms or held aloft. Most say he lost his head in battle, things like that. But the horse in particular, they're said to be massive black steeds that ride with such ferocity that fire billows up from their hooves and pours out of their nostrils.
So a nightmare.
Yeah, so a nightmare. That's why I was like, no, it had to be a nightmare. Sometimes they're seen as a single solo rider or as a carriage being drawn by 6 black horses. 4 to 6 black horses. It gets better. Just hold. The carriage is also said to be made of coffins and bones.
Is this like an 80s metal album cover?
Yeah.
This sounds like a Dio like album cover.
I know, everything. I was like, okay. I mean, there was one that was like, it's made of tombstones. And I'm like, I'm gonna stick with coffins.
Is
that was the only one I had.
Stop looking at him.
It's supposed to be.
I couldn't get a close look. Pops back in. Boom. The other eye. Ah!
Okay. Anyways.
Glasses on.
It is in fact the spine. It hurts.
You see the dual hand coming, and you're like, all right, safety goggles on. I got you.
And then the dual hand is like, ah, blood, ah, why?
This dude is just a jerk.
Yeah, it's like
I love
long,
it.
flowing, flat cloak, will hold his head aloft, and there were some reports saying that the head can spy an innocent soul to collect for miles. So even if you see it way off in the distance, it's coming for you.
Okay, so I have so much to work off with this one.
Oh, small note, there is a scent associated with this rider. Not just the smell of rotting flesh, but it is said that the smell of the rotting head is so overwhelming it smells like rotting cheese and molding bread, along with the rotting flesh on top of that.
Oh.
So it is a very visceral interaction. Yeah.
Ew.
Okay, so
not only did he assault your senses by making you blind, but also by hinging your nostrils.
okay, so based on that, what I would do is just based on the scent, I would probably give them the what's that trait that troglodytes have? Where it's something where
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I forgot what it's called, but essentially if you're too close to them, you have to do a constitution saving throw for this.
Oh yes, exactly.
Yeah, because if not, you'll have to spend a turn like retching your guts up. I would definitely throw the spine in as a weapon and have it be like because the battle axe for the dull hand is still pretty cool. Like it does damage. It does slashing and necrotic damage, and then if it's
literally just called stench.
Oh, okay. So, but then if it scores a critical hit, you have to make a con save, or else you get decapitated. So I'm keeping that. But I would also have him give him the whip, where if you get whipped, you have to make a con save, or you go blind for the rest of the turn. Or something like that.
You can even level up the interactions as you're going, because you have like the initial interaction of it rides through town. You hear of the headless rider. You then next interaction see the headless rider on one single horse, and then after that, he brings the goddamn carriage and he's coming for all of you.
Well, that's okay. So here's something I was thinking. Obviously, the dual hand's going to get a nightmare. That's just, come on.
Duh.
You're not, but you could probably make a stat block for like a dual hand, like Commander or Dreadnought or what have you, and then have it be a team of nightmares. Because one nightmare, okay, whatever. You guys took out a nightmare, no problem. But 6 of them, now we're talking,
Yeah, you have a full-blown stampede coming your way. Oh,
Right.
One small other note, unlike the Banshee, who is known to wail, she's also known to be heard like chant crying off in the distance. The Dolahan can only speak once every ride, and it can only speak the name of the soul they are there to collect.
Ooh.
Yeah, I love that. And basically, once that name is called, death is coming and nothing will stop it. That's it. You have been marked. You are going to die.
Is it coming by him or somebody else is coming?
Either.
So
Either.
Then what you can do is that you can just an easy fix for that, if you want to do something like that, is that one of its mythic actions is that it has what's called a headless wail, where echoing shriek issues from the Dullahan's headless stump. Maybe what that is that it can be targeted if you so wish, and it can be the person, like maybe it's targeting a particular party member. So then that person has to make a wisdom save, probably for like a little bit of a higher DC, because it's going to be targeted.
Yeah.
And then they, whatever the consequences, what may come from there. But I think it'd also be really neat to have kind of like a mini quest based around the Dullahan. Like you come across a village and it's like harvest season. Like, oh, we're having this great big feast, blah blah blah. And then it's like, oh shit, sundown. Okay, quick, everyone pack up. And then the
go.
And then the adventure's like, what's going on? It's like, oh, shut the fuck up, shut up. And then and then they hear like hoof beats off in the distance. I'm like,
the town gates fling open, just with the sheer force of evil coming at the town. Because that was another thing. No lock gates stay closed. Open.
Oh,
Done.
yeah,
They're
no.
flying open.
But I mean, it could be like very reminiscent of like the scene from the first Lord of the Ring movies, where like the ring wraiths are going through that town, and everyone's just terrified, but they're not.
Yeah.
They can't do anything. They're just like cemented against the wall and stuff like that, and it just have that, and it'd be like, don't go out there, you know. And then naturally be like, well, I could take them on, and then they get decapitated, or someone's like, is that a spot? Oh, my eyes!
I didn't even think of that. Oh man.
Brutal.
There is one way of protecting yourself against Dullahan, though, and the answer is gold, baby, gold.
Of course.
So you can either carry a gold coin, wear a piece of gold jewelry, or my most favorite and dramatic way of doing it is that you're supposed to take like a piece of gold and throw it down into the Dullahan's path, and it's supposed to basically cause them to rear up and run in fear of this shining protected metal.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Interesting.
So maybe have.
I thought he was collecting the gold.
Nope.
Oh, so-
Terrified of it. The golden protection.
So maybe have it be something where like it has like an aversion to gold, but
Yeah,
like
similar to werewolves in silver.
right, exactly. So they just like throw some gold, and like one of it like goes into like the next stump like a coin slot. You know.
Exactly. I think that would be amazing. Along with the idea, like, so ghosts are said to, not like iron, but apparently the opposite is true for fairies. It's essentially seen as an insult if you bring iron towards them. So I'd imagine with the banshee, if they tried to attack with an iron weapon, that is the ultimate insult.
Right.
So you could play with that as well, as being like, now she's pissed. Dullahan, he sees you throw a gold coin at him, he's going to come back at you when you're out of gold.
That would be.
So don't run out of gold.
Don't run out of gold.
So then maybe we can introduce something to where like they have resistance to certain damages unless you're using a gilded weapon.
There we go.
And then that 15,000 gold that you picked up in that random cave can actually be used for something.
Exactly. One guy that got his sword gold plated. Great.
Yeah.
He did great work there. The one time.
that would actually be really cool. Think about it. Okay. So like you go to like this harvest town, and maybe there's like a big like feasting hall that's of this long lineage, and there's this like really pretentious like rich guy like, oh, I have a gold sword, blah blah blah, and it's like it's hanging up like Chekhov's gun, like at the end of the hall, and then you realize, oh wait, the Dullahan has a version of gold. I need that golden sword that's been passed down by your family for generations. And he's like, oh no, but I no time. Give me that heirloom.
My gold sword.
Yeah. The minute you hit him with it, it bends.
Yeah.
You made a solid gold sword.
I just imagine like you throw a gold
Wouldn't
coin
it be
at this
really
guy,
heavy, too?
and he would just be pissed. He'd be like, how dare you, I'm coming back later.
Okay, so wait, you made an unalloyed solid gold but I mean, I think that'd be kind of, because you don't think gold in weaponry is useful because it ain't, Yeah. So having something like that would be like, oh, neat, and you probably wouldn't use it outside of that adventure.
Yeah.
But okay, so also based on what you said, I would probably have it to be like where if we really wanted to put a Dullahan in a box here, go with the whole fertility goddess thing.
Yeah.
That was interesting.
I would have a Dullahan be like a paladin of the ancients that was like struck down in battle, and now it's risen up, and because like its grove has been like desecrated. And now and maybe that's where this village that it's haunting came from. Like, oh hey, here's this grove that everything seems to be growing pretty abundantly, and this Dullahan's like, this used to be the sacrifice grounds for the god I worshipped. Could you have a little respect, please?
God, you could even do a nice, beautiful hodgepodge.
I like to imagine that that's exactly how he says it.
Oh, I imagine like you could do a really beautiful hodgepodge of the two lores. Like there's the sacrificial center where the Dullahan is reigning supreme, and on the outskirts you have the burial mounds where the banshees then one day forewarn the entire village that something is coming, and all of the banshees rise
Or it could be something like maybe this town has an abundantly good harvest and no one seems to question why, but there's always that one guy that goes off in the woods for a little bit and then he comes back and then boom, harvest. Oh, look at the size of these tomatoes and and
Oh,
it's like, oh no.
people have been disappearing. Oh man.
I mean, who's gonna miss an adventurer? They're like a dime a
Yeah,
dozen.
whatever. The dime a dozen. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
true.
And maybe you get lured into the town for that reason.
And then you kill the
Ooh.
guy, and then he becomes a Dolahan.
Oh
And then you have to
no!
re-defeat the guy again.
What have I done?
I mean, because like adult.
Everybody, take out a gold coin.
Throw your gold coins at it.
Throw the pinky ring!
I mean, I would probably have something like, is there a sling in 5e? I would
Sling? Yeah,
yeah,
there's a sling.
I would use a sling with gold coins. All right, you're gonna lose every round. You're gonna lose a coin, but or a gold. So
Unless you pick it up later,
Yeah, it's like retrieving arrows. Just more expensive.
Yeah, a gold shot. It's just so. I worked so hard for this.
But I mean I think that would be okay. So I wouldn't say a Dullahan's gonna be a low level.
No,
because
Not with a human spine whip.
no, it did. It's a CR 10.
right. So then I would probably have it be. I would probably keep it at that. So that way, if you are using gold as ammunition, like there's an actual cost to it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you're level 10, you're gonna like look at the group now in Rhyme. Just like, what am you literally had to dump gold into a cave because you had to get rid of it somehow. So I mean, yeah, we can use that. Man, the Dullahan's way cooler in real life.
I know,
Yeah.
so much cooler. That's why
Yeah.
I was really disappointed when you're like, "Oh, it's a headless soldier." Like, all right,
Definitely, literally just a paragraph. That's all
yeah,
it is.
that's like the most baseline like part of the Dullahan story, but like the actual origins of it, like it's been around. Like this is an ancient story.
Right.
Like not witnesses, but I should say like stories of the Dullahan have been around at least since like 8th century.
Wow.
Onwards. Yeah.
So, now here's a question: is the blood that they like spill from the basin, is it cursed or is it just like blood?
I never really saw anything about that. It was just described as a basin of blood. I assume that it's from the decapitation of the horseman himself. Like the basin of blood that his blood poured into, or the basin of blood from the sacrifices.
Because
originally,
what if it could be something like they use the basin of blood in combat, and it's like it doesn't do anything right now, but it kind of targets you later on, like it sets up something, or it's
like
like
a long-term poisoning situation, like
maybe they get like advantage on an attack because you have the blood on you, or something like something.
I would re-envision that basin as being like the water pouch from like Avatar. Like the water bending pouch.
Oh, where they just
Oh,
yeah,
right.
like he just like splashes some water or
Blind.
blood in your face.
pocket blood. Ah!
Oh God! Why does it burn?
I think it has something to do with the original decapitation sacrifices, because typically human sacrificial like situations, they would have a basin to collect the blood to use in the rest of the ritual.
Mhm.
So
Right.
I think that's probably where the basin comes from, is like the original human sacrifice aspect, which could be even more interesting because it's sacrificed, like
Right.
ritualistic blood. So you could probably add all sorts of flavoring to that, not literal flavoring. Don't do that.
A little bit of coriander in there.
Little ramen seasoning in there.
make some blood sausages with it,
Get a little hot pot action in there. Just dip your ramen in there. Ooh, yum yum yum.
Oh God!
Just like Vietnamese blood soup to like start crunching some lemongrass, the whole thing.
So I would actually probably, if it's based off of sacrifices, if it's whole bread and butter sacrifices, I would probably do something else on top of that where where if it does manage to cut off somebody's head using its battle axe feat, maybe it gets like a buff or something, or maybe it like it
Oh,
like
that's
the
fun.
whales
I
in the
like that.
grave thing that Alex's character has.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or maybe because it has made its sacrifice, like it restores some hit points based on that, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's things you can work off. Really, we're just building on top of an already pretty killer stat block, and I'm okay with that.
It's just it could be so much more interesting, and I think that's what this entire discussion is about. Is that these characters have okay stat blocks, but like the mythology behind them could be so much cooler and could bring so much more to a story than. Oh no, a banshee showed up and is attacking somebody. Oh no, a Doulahan showed up and took somebody down. Like,
which I think it comes down to an internet kind of touched on this when there's like the monster manual is very minimum.
yeah,
Which I kind of get, right? Because like if they make a short story or like a short adventure based on Doulahan, they'll probably add the background to that part of it.
yeah.
But doing your own research, like you just did, on like these guys, like you're doing the work for them, and it's probably way better than what they could. So you know what I mean?
I love the lore. I mean, the real life lore. I've always loved fairy tales and like things like that. Apparently, the Doulahan shows up in a lot of Grimm's fairy tales, which very exciting.
Which I have the book. I still haven't read it, like the full collection.
Yeah, but like,
a lot of people die for no apparent reason.
Yeah, I've heard things.
Yeah, people get boiled alive. A lot of toes getting chopped off. A lot of people getting baked into pies. It happens.
Lot of
stuff that you bring your children before bed.
Lot of extremities,
just like the good old days.
Lot of extremities, scarring. A lot of that shit getting cut off just because. Oh, you should have been nice to this old person.
So many wives getting murdered.
Right. That's the moral of the story.
Moral of the story for that was never get married. Your husband will murder you. That was it. Strong possibility. Mother, stepmother, people like that, murder. But
yeah, I need to read it. It's been on my plate for a while. But yeah, no, I think it's very interesting. I like. Thank you for doing that research because that is so fucking cool.
I
to add all that stuff to it. You can really beef up. I mean, like Andrew said, the Doulahan is already a very beefy stat block, but you can add way cooler stuff like the whip and the blood.
Even just either a cursory research of some of the monsters you could throw in there, like their backgrounds are so much cooler, and you could add so much more character to them rather than just there's a monster, you beat it up, you're done.
Yeah, but and not only that, but if you just did a little bit of research into a monster. You can take what is already like a pretty good stat block, beef it up a bit, but then have it be propped up by like a compelling story that's not just it was a guy in a battle that got decapitated.
Yeah,
and now he's real mired.
Like, and a lot of these stories, they're supposed to have a lot more complex characters, not just she's evil. She used her wiles to ruin the world.
Right. But I mean, right there, if having a Doulahan be like the like the bloodthirsty vengeance of a fertility of like a forgotten fertility god, you got an adventure right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. Like we're talking 3 sessions minimum.
But it doesn't even have to be the vengeance. He may just see it as I need to continue to do this to gain power. Or maintain my power.
And there you go. And we can have a right there. You can build some depth into your world. Like this is how the world used to be. Like things were barbaric, and thankfully we have moved on. But some of the world has not forgotten. You know? Right?
Or say you have a druid who decides they want to have a Celtic fertility god as their patron, and all of a sudden they get the wrong one. And now they have to decapitate every single enemy they have. Like,
exactly. Yeah, it could be something like, I'm trying. What's the god of harvest? The goddess of harvest. It's like Shanto, I think. It's like, I wanna make an offering to Shanto, and then you come across this Crom. What was it?
It is Crom Dubh. So CROMDUBH.
Okay, so Crom Dubh, and maybe they could be like the evil version of the shot.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey kid, you know, like you want like a bountiful harvest, I can do it, but you got to, you know, you have to literally put some skin in the game.
Yeah, my power is ancient, and I can bring so much more prosperity than your new god. And they're like, okay, that sounds great.
And then we can do something I always love: evil druids.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh my god! Or imagine like an Oathbreaker paladin, like made a deal with an original or another fertility god, beheads one guy. Now for the wrong fertility god. Now you're becoming slowly over time a Dullahan.
Or maybe they were a paladin, Oath of the Ancients paladin, and then they became an Oathbreaker, and then when they died, because they broke their oaths, like, hey, guess what? You can't go to Elysium or what the fuck ever.
Yeah.
You're cursed now to forever ride the lands as this headless monster that you know.
Because your party had to decapitate you to take your ass down.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like, boom, like, just so much we could use. Come on, wizards, put in the work.
Come on, wizards, bring me on. I'll tell you all the fun lore. Let's go.
They're never gonna do it.
I mean, I just love the idea of having like a possibly evil fertility god, you know, because you never hear about that. It's always like, oh, the god of harvest and blah blah blah. Just pray to me and you'll have wheat and shit. All you know, but
you have a bit of that in like the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yeah, exactly. But
situation.
Yeah, but it has to be something where like the harvest fields are watered with blood.
Yeah.
It's like finally somebody gets it.
It's what the plants crave.
How do I sign up to that religion? Oh man.
Oh god, yes. So much more interesting, so much there like to play with, and so much more to make your players shit themselves mid-campaign. Just
it sounds like to me like this is gonna be a reoccurring series for more monsters.
I wouldn't like it. I would like it to be.
I would like to start talking about some cryptids too, and we can tag Robert in as well, because they would love a good cryptid discussion.
Can we make a Mothman stat block? We can certainly try.
I legitimately would like to do like a full in-depth Yeti episode, because I want to do Yeti, skunk ape, like the abominable snowman. I want to do the full hodgepodge with all the variation, because what a fun time.
If we can, that would be fascinating, because I actually went to the Bigfoot Museum, and it was kind of disappointing.
Oh, no. I have so much Bigfoot stuff from like everywhere from Georgia to like Washington to like there's stories all over the US and everywhere else really of Bigfoot, big feet, Yeti, skunk ape for Florida's.
The plural of Bigfoot is Bigfoots. Okay.
Bigfoot. Oh, okay.
She's a little big feet.
All
right, guys.
But no, I would definitely love to continue this, because as we can see, doing even the most minimal amount of research can add so much spice and variety and potential, and most important, potential to your monsters.
Well, so you're telling me, Andrew, that if you put effort into your
don't use that word. We don't use that word here.
There's payoff.
If you have a friend who has a very niche interest and she just blabbers onto you about it,
exploit it for views.
Do it. The amount of times I pause things to tell Alex fun history facts is upsetting.
He doesn't mind. I know he doesn't.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I'd be like, "Oh, neat fact about this," and Teresa's just like,
I get the same thing. Alex will tell me things about cars, and I'm like, "Yeah,
oh, cool.
Nope, no information staying.
I love you. I'm happy that this makes you this excited, and I'm all here for it. But yeah.
I don't know. I got nothing to contribute. It's pretty.
I mean, but this is like, what's it? This is like the personification of that. What was it that one Wizard of the Coast guy said when they were talking about like the lack of rules and Spelljammers, and he was like, "Well, don't you guys have DMs?" Like, okay, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like this is that.
DMs are people too.
Yeah. I I buy these books for the rules. I don't.
Yes.
I don't buy them going into like, man, I can't wait to homebrew a whole set of rules I could have done by myself and save $50.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Anyway,
Right, so let's move on to our next segment, which is session highlights.
you know what?
Right.
Can we just get an actual air horn for that part?
No.
No,
Okay.
no, we're professionals here, Andrew.
I'm
just
sorry.
saying-
Even when I'm listening to the podcast, I still say. "Bow, bow, bow, bow."
See,
I'm
it's a
just,
staple of us now.
I'm just saying how. Oh no, that's a Papa John's ad. Never mind.
Pizza.
Why is there a minute-long ad to a 3-second YouTube video? Anyways.
All right, so we put a pause on Rime of the Frost Maiden, so but we've been playing. Oh, we started playing.
Started.
Son of Citadel in the Yawning Portal.
Now
So
we didn't have
session 0 and session 1.
Now we didn't have a session last time because I couldn't make it, and then I paid off Alex and Heather so they couldn't make it, so I couldn't miss out a session.
That's what it was, you mother-
I gotta admit, Alex had a really rough day, like
That's
really just a bad day, and I was like, I'm just gonna tell Jose now because you need to sit there and just not do anything. Just breathe.
Oh, poor Alex.
By the way, did you guys get the Venmo I sent?
Well, and then Roro was like, "Oh, okay, that's great," because I was doing this and this and this, and I'm like,
It was $1.99.
Yeah.
no, I'm kidding.
Yeah, so we didn't play last week, but we did play the week before that, which was session 1 of the Sunless Citadel.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any session highlights?
I
have my own, but I think I know it's gonna be the same as Andrew probably.
maybe not, because
Oh, we did, and yeah, and we do have a new player face, so
Yeah.
that's fun.
there were a couple of interesting spots in the first session. I would have to say personally, my favorite point was when what's Chris's character's name? It's like Mal. Okay.
Yeah.
So Mal made a bad dexterity check on one trap, and that was fine. You know, it was just a bad roll.
Yeah.
And then they made a really good dexterity check on another trap, but it wasn't good enough. So now it's like he's 2 for 2. So in my character's eyes, he's just a bad rogue. And it was the point where our little kobold companion tried to open a door and a scythe almost took him out, and we're just like, Mal, what are you doing?
Yeah, but so I think he actually did like a total of like 3 checks.
Oh, did he?
Like, yeah, 1 really bad one and 2 really good ones.
Yeah, I
remember
the last one being really good. It just wasn't good enough, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It was literally off by 1 number. He and this is his first time playing, so he has no point of reference. He doesn't know what a good roll or a bad roll is.
Right.
So I had to reassure him. It's like, dude, those rolls were actually really good. You were just really off by like 1 point. And he's like, yo, I'm doing so bad, man. It's like, no, that's the point of the game. Like that adds to it.
Yeah, you're gonna have days where all of a sudden you can't do anything. You can't open doors. You can't pour liquids into a container. You can't light a damn fire. Like nothing.
You're like those guys from Gravity Falls trying to learn how to drink again.
Yeah, exactly.
That was also my favorite part because it was just like he's the only rogue in the party, so he's the one who's checking all the traps. And sure enough, something bad happening every time. That and like Alex's character Rolo, like literally lands down, and Mal is like, "Well, guy, it looks like it's clear," and he goes. So you guys didn't see the map, but he walks forward and barely misses the trap, and Rolo's like, "All right." Into the trap.
I just love Alex's little not like this as he falls. Like as if Rolo had a very specific way he did not want to die.
He survived so much. We spent a solid half an hour on our drive, by the way, trying to come up with a name for his ball. I'll let him announce that.
Okay. Dude, yeah, and then he lands there and he gets taken down to 1 hit point. And Mal felt so bad. He's like, what do I do? I'm sorry.
Don't do anything. You're fine. A lot of that was us trying to reassure Chris it's okay to be bad.
Yeah.
like a lot of
You're
stuff
allowed
can
to
come
suck
from
at this.
Yeah, a lot of things can
Yeah.
come from failure. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I just love it was like literally like the first entry to the to the dungeon. Like, all right, it's not like this.
Oh my god.
It's just Rolo just getting immediately mauled to bits by rats. Like, oh
I
shit.
could not stop cracking up because definitely at some point on your last episode, Jose's like, I don't know, man. A giant rat comes after you. You could totally die. Like, it could take down anybody. And all of a sudden, we're just sitting there watching it happen. Just like, oh, this is way worse than I thought.
I mean, that's all. 3 rats, 1 good critical roll. That's it, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I
over.
got one crit, and it was he went down to 1 hit point, and I didn't pull any punches. So
But-
it's not like you got it.
But I also like, and this might not even be part of the adventure, but somehow, like, the town became a little culty for us.
I forgot about that.
And we're all like, you know what? We're just gonna sleep outside.
You know what? This is a little too creepy.
Yeah, that was not even, so in the adventure it literally doesn't even mention, like, it mentions a town with 4 bullet points, like here's this and this,
Right.
and that's it.
But it's just the way you sold it. Like, they were like, oh, we won best town of the year. Like, oh, it's one of these places.
One of
Oh,
us.
Yeah.
One of us.
I know you love the nail lady.
Oh, God almighty. I hated it so much. It was just the wiggly fingers. Just, yes.
And like,
Yeah.
and like Jafif meeting the only person that has a standing desk in the town, and the
Jafif in general.
the chain smoking cook, and,
Oh, yeah.
and the priest that managed to like make a cleric uncomfortable with their praying. just you know, I think
Yeah, I went full televangelist with that one.
I don't think these kids went missing. I think they just left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just love Andrew's character comes. It's like, okay, guys, we gotta get out of here.
You know what? Let's just find these kids and get the fuck out.
They killed him. They killed him. The kids started doing graffiti, and they're like, "Nope, not in my town."
Yeah, because he asked me, he's like, do I see anything weird?
Like what?
And I described that scene from Hot Fuzz when like the kids are in the fountain and then they disappeared.
A great bushy here.
That and another favorite part is that, like, right at the beginning too, we're going through the turn order, and then all of a sudden Heather's like, "Yep, I'm a tiefling now."
I know, you guys were like, wait, that's not how changelings work. I'm like, I know, I just got dramatic with it, okay? Leave me alone. I can't do this whole...
I was like, "What do you?"
I just couldn't do the whole, like, 12 sessions of no dark vision. Like,
Yeah.
Jose, we change maps. Can I get a torch? Where's my torch?
You keep picking characters without dark vision.
I didn't think about it. I just...
It's like dungeon crawl, no dark vision.
It's the Sunless Citadel.
I assumed they had lanterns, okay? I loved the idea of a changeling because it seemed like it was going to bring some fun flavor to what could be a dungeon.
Yeah.
At times.
That kind of brought me back to when we were in early Avernus, and I was trying to do like the thieves' tools with the changeling, and I'm like, "What do I see?" And he's like, "Nothing, because you don't have dark vision." I'm like,
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I wanted to avoid. I was going for like a Ty Lee beats May situation there.
Oh,
but-
okay, yeah. All right. No, I just love it because it came out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what do you mean you're a thief? Like I changed my character. I'm like,
I literally the
All right,
entire
well-
time. That was why at some point, my least favorite, but probably somebody's favorite out there moment where I was like, I'm gonna attack the wall, and then I was just like, back to being a tiefling. Hold on, I gotta do this. I literally was like, I just gotta attack and get this through. Like, you guys do what you gotta do. You got this.
yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to finish this one. It's gonna be fun. It's literally just like a dungeon crawl. Like there's nothing crazy here.
"Yeah, there's something refreshing about. Hey, here's a dungeon. Just go."
Yeah.
Just go be in the dungeon for a while. You don't have a whole continent you have to traverse anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I just love the fact that like you guys barely made it to like 10% of the actual dungeon,
Jeez.
and like it's already like one went down to like 1 hit point. Somebody's changed their whole character because they didn't have dark vision. It's such a fucking mess.
It was was that, or I wait till Alex gets to level 3 and gets some like goggles of night vision, and I'm not doing
Right,
that.
and just yeah, that's the end of the adventure.
Yeah,
I
exactly. But I
Yeah, so
what hold on, there was something else. Maybe there wasn't. Whatever. I was just gonna go back to the town again. Just
That's town.
yeah.
yeah, where my character's like, I think we might be the most normal people here, not saying a lot.
And on that note, we gotta go.
Yeah, we're gonna
Let's get out of here. Yeah. Oh man. Anything else, guys?
I don't think so.
I think that pretty much covers it.
Yeah. Yetis next time?
Yep. Yetis next time.
Yetis next
Definitely.
time, unless somebody that is watching the stream has some comments on what they want to see from
Yeah, I'm
We have
real
a
life
whole. We had a whole one viewer that wasn't me.
I'm
Aw.
actually kind of surprised because last time the viewership, well, that one guy
It was Call of Cthulhu. So
oh, that's why. Okay.
yeah.
This
I
is
think
fun.
if we start jumping into more niches, there's less streamers because right now we're saturated. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us one more time in another episode of A Talk of Opportunity. I hope you learned that with the most minimal effort of research, you can really beef up your characters and storytelling for not characters, monsters and storytelling.
Literally just look up like the first blurb of a Wikipedia article.
Done.
Yes.
Get that? Yeah.
I want to thank Heather for doing a lot of freaking research for us and telling us all this really cool shit about these monsters. I keep saying
Aw.
characters. And we'll be back with another episode of these. I don't know when, but we'll be back with another. What do we call it? Beyond the Mythos.
Mhm.
I forgot the name of it.
Beyond the manual.
Beyond the Manual. Yeah. So thank you so much. We will be back on Wednesday playing the Sunlit Citadel, so make sure to join us. We try to play every Wednesday. Sometimes that happens and it doesn't go, but it doesn't happen too often.
Yeah.
Also we play Warzone on Tuesdays. So come watch us be bad at games.
Except for last Tuesday. Last Tuesday was
It's
just
like-
kind of like.
Yeah, last week was weird. Anyways,
Yeah.
so with that, thank you all for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Make sure to follow us on all the social medias and podcast platforms. But with that, as always, keep on gaming.